Hannah walked into the great council chamber alone. Her footsteps echoed on the metal floor. Around her, hundreds of alien beings moved away as she passed. Some were tall with blue skin. Others had scales or feathers. A few floated in the air without legs. All of them feared her. She took her seat at the far end of the room. A special seat, isolated. 20 meters separated her from the nearest diplomat. This was always how it went. For 10 years, Hannah had been Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Council. For 10 years, she had been treated like a dangerous animal. High Counselor Thane called the meeting to order. He was a large bird-like creature with golden feathers and 3 eyes. His voice boomed across the chamber. "We gather today to discuss the crisis on Kepler 442b, Thane announced. "The asteroid will strike in 30 days. We must evacuate 2 million citizens immediately." Ambassador Vrel stood up. He looked like a giant insect with clicking mandibles. "The evacuation route is clear. We have 40 ships ready. The journey will take 25 days using the outer corridor." Another ambassador raised a tentacle. "The outer corridor adds 10 days to the journey. Why not use the direct route through Sector 7? It cuts travel time in half." The chamber fell silent. No one spoke. Hannah knew why. Sector 7 bordered human space. Finally, Thane spoke. "You know why we cannot. The quarantine zone forbids all passage within 50 light years of human territory. The direct route passes through the edge of the forbidden area. But 2 million lives are at stake." Someone protested. Vrel clicked his mandibles nervously. "Better to arrive late than to enter human space. Have you forgotten what happened 200 years ago?" Hannah closed her eyes. She had heard this story 1,000 times. The story that had condemned humanity to isolation for 2 centuries. An old council member spoke up. His voice shook with age. "I was young when the first contact fleet disappeared. 27 ships. Over 5,000 crew members. They approached Earth to offer friendship. Only one ship escaped. The captain. The captain was covered in burns. Half his crew was dead. He broadcast a warning before he died. 'The humans,' he said, 'they attacked without mercy. They feel no compassion. They hunt other species for sport. Do not go near Earth. Do not let them leave their world.'" The chamber filled with fearful whispers. "The quarantine has kept us safe," Vrel insisted. "Humans are violent, unpredictable. They wage war on themselves constantly. They are not like us. They are dangerous." Hannah finally stood up. Every eye in the chamber turned to her. Some beings actually moved back in fear. "May I speak?" she asked quietly. Thane hesitated. "You may." "What happened 200 years ago was a terrible accident," Hannah said. "Not an attack. Our defense systems malfunctioned during a solar storm. We didn't even know you existed. We were barely exploring our own solar system. We tried to explain this. We sent messages. We sent ambassadors. But no one would listen." "So you claim," Vrel interrupted. "Yet you do not let us verify. You do not let our ships enter your space. You keep your secrets hidden because you won't let us." Hannah's voice rose with frustration. "The quarantine wasn't our idea. You built the wall around us. You trapped us inside. We've been trying to reach out for 200 years." Thane raised a wing for silence. "Enough. The council has made its decision long ago. The quarantine stands. We will use the outer corridor for the evacuation. It is slower, but it is safe." Hannah sat down, defeated. The same conversation. Always the same result. The meeting continued. Details were discussed. Ships were assigned. But Hannah barely listened. She thought about Earth, about humanity trapped behind an invisible wall, about the loneliness of being the only human allowed in council space, yet never being trusted. Never being heard. As the meeting ended, she stood to leave. Most delegates rushed out quickly, avoiding her. But she noticed one figure watching her. A tall alien in a military uniform. He had dark green skin and 4 arms. A captain by his insignia, he approached her slowly, carefully, as if approaching a wild creature. "Ambassador Hannah," he said. His voice was deep and cautious. "My name is Captain Jinwoo. I command the evacuation fleet." Hannah blinked in surprise. Few aliens ever spoke to her directly. "Yes, Captain." Jinwoo looked around to make sure no one was listening. He lowered his voice. "The outer corridor route? It may not be fast enough. There are solar wind patterns that could delay us. If we are delayed by even 3 days, the asteroid will strike before we complete evacuation. Then what will you do?" Hannah asked. Jinwoo's eyes met hers. She saw something there. Determination and desperation. "I will do whatever is necessary to save my people," he said quietly. "Even if it means defying the council. Even if it means taking the direct route." Hannah's breath caught. "Through human space?" "Yes, they'll court-martial you. Strip your command. Maybe worse." Jinwoo nodded slowly. "Perhaps. But 2 million lives matter more than my career." He paused. "Ambassador, if I do this, if I lead my fleet through the Forbidden Zone, what will happen? Tell me the truth. Will your people attack us?" Hannah looked at this brave captain. This being willing to risk everything for his people. This alien who, like all others, had been taught to fear humans his entire life. "No," she said firmly. "We won't attack you. We'll help you. We've always wanted to help." Jinwoo studied her face for a long moment. Then he nodded once and walked away. Hannah watched him go. Her heart pounded. Maybe, after 200 years, humanity would finally get another chance. A chance to prove they were not monsters. A chance to show the galaxy who they really were. But would anyone believe them? Or would old fears prove too strong to overcome? Captain Jinwoo stood on the bridge of the Stellar Dawn. Through the viewport, he could see 39 other ships in formation behind him. 40 vessels total. Each one packed with refugees from Kepler 442b. 2 million souls depending on him to make the right choice. "Captain, we're approaching the decision point," said Yuna, his chief navigator. She was a thin, blue-skinned woman from the Aquarian colonies. Her webbed fingers moved across the navigation console. "If we take the outer corridor, we need to change course in 10 minutes. Jinwoo stared at the star map. The safe route glowed green on the display. It curved far around a large red zone. The Forbidden area. Human space. The direct route cut straight through the edge of that red zone. It would save 12 days of travel time. 12 days they desperately needed. "Captain?" Yuna prompted. Behind them, the door to the bridge opened. Ambassador Hannah entered. She had requested permission to join the fleet. Jinwoo had agreed, though his crew had protested. Having a human aboard made them nervous. "Have you made your decision?" Hannah asked quietly. Jinwoo took a deep breath. Navigation set course for the direct route. "We're going through." The bridge went silent. His crew stared at him in shock. "Sir, that's through human space," his weapons officer stammered. "The council forbids." "The council isn't here," Jinwoo cut him off. "I am. And I won't let 2 million people die because of a 200-year-old fear. Set the course." Yuna's hands trembled as she input the new coordinates. "Course set, Captain. All ships, follow our lead," Jinwoo broadcast to the fleet. "We're taking the direct route home." Immediately, his communications console lit up with protests. Other ship captains questioned his sanity. Some threatened to break formation and take the safe route alone. But Jinwoo held firm. He explained the math, the timing, the danger of being too slow. One by one, the ships agreed to follow as they approached the boundary of human space. Jinwoo noticed the crew getting more tense. Everyone had heard stories about humans. Terrible stories passed down through generations. A young ensign whispered to another, "My grandfather said humans eat other species, that they keep aliens as slaves. I heard they have no emotions," someone else muttered. "They kill without feeling anything. They enjoy war," added another voice. "They fight each other for fun." Hannah stood quietly in the corner of the bridge. Jinwoo saw pain in her eyes as she listened to these whispers. But she said nothing. "Crossing the boundary now," Yuna announced. Jinwoo held his breath. The moment the fleet entered human space, every alarm on the bridge started screaming. "Contacts!" The sensor officer shouted. Multiple ships appearing on all sides. "I count 20, 30, 40 contacts. Sir, we're surrounded." Panic spread through the bridge. Jinwoo gripped his command chair. This was it. The moment that would prove the old stories true or false. "Are they powering weapons?" he demanded. I don't know. Their technology is different from ours. I can't read their weapon systems." The communications console beeped. An incoming message. From the human ships. Everyone on the bridge froze. Jinwoo's hand moved slowly to the accept button. He pressed it. A voice came through. Human, male, speaking in clear, accented Galactic common. Unknown fleet. "This is Commodore Taiho of the Human Defense Force. We've detected your ships entering our space. Do you require assistance?" The bridge crew exchanged confused glances. Assistance? Not attack? Not threats? Jinwoo cleared his throat. "This is Captain Jinwoo of the Galactic Council Evacuation Fleet. We are transporting refugees. We need to pass through this sector to reach safety." A pause. Then, "Understood, Captain. We're reading your ship signatures. You have civilians aboard. Is there a medical emergency? Do you need supplies?" Jinwoo couldn't believe what he was hearing. "No emergency. We just need safe passage." "Of course," Taiho replied. "We'll escort you through our territory. The fastest route will take you 3 days. We can provide refueling at our way station if needed. Also, we have food supplies that are compatible with 17 different species. If any of your refugees need sustenance, we can help." Yuna leaned close to Jinwoo. "Captain, this has to be a trick." But Jinwoo was studying the sensor data. The human ships have positioned themselves in an escort formation, not an attack pattern. They were protecting the fleet. "Why are you helping us?" Jinwoo asked suspiciously. Another pause. When Taiho spoke again, his voice was soft, sad. "Because that's what neighbors do, Captain. We've been waiting 200 years for someone to give us a chance to prove we're not monsters. You're the first ones brave enough to enter our space. We won't waste this opportunity." A small alien child appeared next to Hannah. Her name was Navi. She was an Aquarian, like Yuna, only 6 years old. She had been wandering the ship with other refugee children. "Is that a human voice?" Navi asked, her large eyes wide with curiosity, not fear. Hannah knelt down beside her. "Yes, sweetie. That's a human. He sounds nice," Navi said simply. Out of the mouths of children, Jinwoo thought. Untainted by generations of fear and propaganda. He made his decision. "Commodore Taiho, we accept your escort. And, yes, we could use some supplies. Many of our refugees left with very little." "Excellent. We'll guide you to Way Station Harmony. It's 12 hours ahead. You can rest there, resupply, and continue your journey. We'll make sure you reach your destination safely." As the human ships took position around the refugee fleet, Jinwoo sat back in his chair. His heart was still pounding. Nothing was going as he expected. The humans weren't attacking. They weren't threatening. They were helping. Yuna looked at him with wide eyes. "Sir, what's happening?" "I don't know," Jinwoo admitted. "But I think we're about to learn the truth about humans. The real truth." Hannah stepped forward. "Captain, thank you for trusting us. You won't regret this." Jinwoo nodded slowly. Through the viewport, he could see the human ships. They were sleek and advanced, but they kept their weapons powered down. They maintained a respectful distance. Everything about their formation screamed protection, not aggression. Maybe the stories were wrong. Maybe humanity had been unfairly judged. Or maybe this was all an elaborate trap. Time would tell. But for now, Jinwoo had 2 million lives to protect. And surprisingly, the humans seemed willing to help him do exactly that. The fleet moved deeper into human space, escorted by beings the galaxy had feared for 2 centuries. And with every passing minute, Jinwoo's certainty about what he knew began to crumble. Waystation Harmony appeared on the view screen like a massive flower blooming in space. The structure was beautiful. Curved metal petals surrounded a central hub. Lights glowed warm and welcoming. It was nothing like Jinwoo had imagined human architecture would be. "They built this?" Yuna whispered in amazement. The human escort ships guided the fleet to docking positions. Commodore Taiho's voice came through again. "Captain Jinwoo, we'd be honored if you join us aboard our flagship. We can discuss the best route for the rest of your journey, and our medical staff can examine any refugees who need care." Jinwoo's crew looked terrified. The weapons officer shook his head vigorously. "Don't go, sir. It's a trap. They'll take you hostage." But Jinwoo thought of 2 million lives depending on him. He needed to understand these humans. "I'm going." "Yuna, you're with me." "What?" Yuna's blue skin turned pale. "Captain, I need my best officer with me. If this goes wrong, you'll be there to witness it, to tell the galaxy what really happened." They took a shuttle to the human flagship. Every moment of the short flight, Jinwoo expected weapons to lock onto them. But nothing happened. The human ship's docking bay doors opened smoothly. Inside, lights gleamed on clean metal surfaces. When the shuttle landed, Jinwoo and Yuna stepped out cautiously. A group of humans waited for them. They wore uniforms but carried no visible weapons. At the front stood a tall human male with kind eyes. "Captain Jinwoo, Navigator Yuna. Welcome aboard the Eternal Dawn. I'm Commodore Taiho." He extended his hand in the human greeting gesture. Jinwoo hesitantly reached out. Taiho's grip was firm but gentle, not threatening. "This way, please," Taiho said. "We've prepared a meeting room, and Dr. Suji would like to speak with you. She's our xenobiologist." They walked through clean corridors. Humans passed by, going about their duties. Some glanced at the alien visitors with curiosity, but none showed hostility. A young human female smiled at Yuna. Yuna nearly jumped in fright. The meeting room was comfortable. Soft chairs. A table with refreshments. Dr. Suji waited there, a middle-aged human woman with gray-streaked hair and warm eyes. "Please," she said. "I've prepared drinks that are safe for your species. Would you like something?" Jinwoo sat stiffly. "Commodore, why are you helping us? Your people have been isolated for 2 centuries. You have every reason to hate the Council." Taiho sat across from them. His expression grew sad. "Hate? No, Captain. We've been frustrated, lonely, desperate to make contact, but not hateful. We understand fear. We just wish the galaxy had given us a chance to explain what really happened." "Then explain now," Jinwoo said. Dr. Suji pulled up a holographic display. Images appeared in the air, Earth, the Sun, ships approaching. 200 years ago, your first contact fleet arrived in our solar system. But you arrived at the worst possible moment. A massive solar flare was occurring, the largest in recorded history. The hologram showed violent eruptions from the sun. Our defense satellites were primitive back then, Taiho continued. Automated. Not very smart. The solar flare interfered with their systems. When your ships appeared, surrounded by radiation from the flare, the satellites identified you as weapons. As missiles, the hologram showed defense satellites firing. By the time we realized what happened, most of your fleet was destroyed, Dr. Suji said softly. We tried to stop it, but the systems were automatic. We barely had manned spaceflight then. We didn't even know other species existed. We certainly didn't know you were coming in peace. Jinwoo stared at the images. His mind reeled. But the survivor, he said you attacked with intent. He said humans showed no mercy. He fled before we could explain, Taiho said. We tried to contact him. We sent messages, but he was terrified, injured. Half his crew dead from the satellite attacks. He didn't stay to hear the truth. By the time we developed faster ships and could travel to council space, the quarantine was already in place. Yuna spoke for the first time. But why didn't you force your way through? You have powerful ships. You could have made the council listen. Dr. Suji smiled sadly and confirmed everyone's fears that we're violent. No, we've been patient. We sent ambassadors like Hannah. We've waited for someone to give us a chance. Like you did, Captain. A loud alarm suddenly blared through the ship. Taiho stood quickly. Medical emergency. Excuse me. They hurried to the medical bay. Inside, human doctors rushed around a small figure on a bed. Jinwoo's heart stopped. It was Navi, the little Aquarian girl. She was crying, her arm bent at a wrong angle. What happened? Yuna gasped. A human doctor looked up. She wandered into an equipment bay, climbed on some crates. They fell on her. Broken arm, but she'll be fine. Jinwoo watched, amazed, as the human medical team worked with incredible gentleness. They gave Navi medicine for pain. They carefully set her broken bone. They spoke to her in soothing voices, even though she couldn't understand their language. One doctor, a young human man, made funny faces to make Navi laugh through her tears. You're helping her, Jinwoo said, stunned. She's not human. She's not even from a council species, you know. But you're helping her. Dr. Suji looked at him with confusion. Of course we are. She's a child in pain. Why wouldn't we help? Yuna's eyes filled with tears. The stories say humans have no compassion, that you only care about your own kind. Stories, Taiho said quietly, are often wrong. Navi's mother arrived, panicked. She froze when she saw the human doctors around her daughter. Fear filled her eyes, but Navi smiled. Mama, the humans fixed my arm. And this one made funny faces. The young doctor made another silly expression. Navi giggled. Her mother's fear slowly melted. She looked at the human doctors, at their kind faces, at their gentle hands caring for her child. Thank you, she whispered. Jinwoo felt something break inside him. 200 years of propaganda, of fear, of lies, all shattering in this one moment. Humans weren't monsters. They were people, just people. Commodore Taiho, Jinwoo said slowly. I need to understand. What are humans really? Who are you? Taiho smiled. That, Captain, is a complicated question. Come, let me show you. As they left the medical bay, Jinwoo glanced back. Navi was asleep now, her arm bandaged, her mother holding her hand. A human nurse sat nearby, keeping watch. This was not what he expected. None of this was, and Jinwoo realized that Everything he thought he knew about humanity was wrong. Completely, utterly wrong. The question was, if the galaxy had been wrong about humans for 200 years, what else had they been wrong about? Commodore Taiho led Jinwoo and Yuna through the way station. They passed through sections where humans worked alongside other aliens. Not prisoners, not slaves, just colleagues. These beings, Jinwoo said, pointing to a group of insect-like creatures repairing a console. They're not part of the council species. Where are they from? Refugees, Taiho explained. The Clickthie. Their world was destroyed by a meteor strike 40 years ago. The council refused to help because the Clickthie have a hive mind structure. It scared them. So the Clickthie came to us. We gave them a home. They entered a large observation deck. Through the windows, Jinwoo could see Earth in the distance. Blue and green and beautiful. A human man waited there. He was older, with white hair and gentle eyes. Captain Jinwoo, I'm Day. I'm a historian. The Commodore asked me to speak with you. About what? Jinwoo asked. About what humans are, Day replied. You asked that question. It deserves a real answer. Day activated a holographic display. Images appeared. Ancient Earth. Humans fighting wars. Cities burning. We are not a gentle species, Day began. Our history is full of violence. We fought each other for thousands of years. Wars over land, resources, beliefs, pride. We nearly destroyed ourselves several times. Yuna watched the images with horror. Then the stories were true. You are violent. Yes, they admitted. But that's not the whole truth. May I show you more? The images changed. Humans helping each other during disasters. Building hospitals. Creating art. We are also capable of incredible kindness, they continued. During our worst wars, there were always those who chose compassion. Doctors who treated enemy soldiers. Soldiers who saved enemy children. People who risked everything to protect others. A young human man entered the observation deck. Minho, introduced as a cultural liaison. He carried strange objects. Captain, may I show you something unique about humans? He held up a small rectangular object. A book. This is a story. Fiction. It's completely made up. Lies, technically. But we create these lies to explore emotions, ideas, possibilities. Yuna looked confused. You deliberately create false information. Not to deceive, Minho explained. To understand. To feel. We tell stories about people who never existed, doing things that never happened. And through these stories, we learn about ourselves. About morality. About what we could be. Other species don't do this? Jinwoo asked. Some do, but not like humans, Minho said. We are obsessed with stories, music, art, poetry. We create entire worlds in our imagination just to explore emotions. He pulled up holographic images. Human art throughout history. Paintings, sculptures, music compositions. We feel things deeply, Captain. Joy makes us sing. Sorrow makes us cry. Love makes us sacrifice everything. Anger makes us fight. We experience emotions more intensely than most species. That intensity, they added, is why we seem so frightening. When you encountered us during a moment of conflict, our defensive response was overwhelming. Not because we're cruel, but because we're intense. A door opened. A small human child ran in, laughing. She was maybe 7 years old, with dark hair and bright eyes. Papa. She called to Minho. Her name was Sori. She stopped when she saw Jinwoo and Yuna. Her eyes went wide with curiosity, not fear. Wow, you're aliens. Are you from the ships outside? Sori, be polite, Minho said gently. But Sori was already approaching them. Your skin is so blue. It's pretty. And you have webbed fingers. Can you swim really well? Yuna smiled despite herself. Yes, my species lives in ocean cities. That's so cool, Sori exclaimed. Little Navi appeared then, her arm in a sling. She had wandered from the medical bay with her mother's permission. When she saw Sori, she smiled shyly. Despite not sharing a language, the two children immediately started playing. Sori pulled out toys. She showed Navi how they worked. They laughed together. Jinwoo watched this simple interaction. Two children from different species, playing without fear or prejudice. How long would it take before our children could communicate? He asked. Sori could learn basic Aquarian in about 2 weeks, Minho said. Human children are very good at learning languages. Some of our kids speak 5 or 6 different alien tongues. Yuna looked surprised. Why would they learn alien languages when you're isolated? Hope, Minho said simply. We teach them alien languages because we hope that someday the isolation will end. That our children will grow up in a galaxy where humans are accepted. The two girls were now drawing together. Sori drew humans. Navi drew Aquarians. They showed each other their pictures with excited gestures. Captain, they said quietly, you asked what humans are. Here's the truth. We are contradictions. We are capable of terrible violence and extraordinary kindness. We are logical but emotional. We are individuals, but we need community. We are afraid of death, but we risk our lives for others. We lie through fiction, but we seek truth through science. We are messy, complicated, inconsistent. But, Taiho added, we are also loyal. When we call someone friend, we mean it. When we make a promise, we keep it. When someone needs help, we give it. Even if they're different from us. Even if they feared us. Jinwoo thought about everything he had seen. The human doctors helping Navi. The refugee species living safely in human space. The art, the stories, the music. The children playing without prejudice. The council isolated you because you were different, he said slowly. Because your intensity scared them. Because they didn't understand you. Yes, Taiho confirmed. But you're not dangerous, Yuna said. You're just human. Minho laughed. Just human? Yes, with all our flaws and all our virtues. We're not perfect. We never claimed to be. We just wanted a chance to be part of the galaxy. To share what we have. To learn from others. Sori and Navi came over, holding hands. They had become friends in less than an hour. Navi said something in Aquarian. Sori didn't understand the words, but she understood the meaning. She hugged the smaller girl gently, careful of her injured arm. Jinwoo felt tears in his eyes. 200 years, he whispered. The galaxy wasted 200 years being afraid of you. But now you're here, they said. And you're learning the truth. That's what matters. When we reach our destination, Jinwoo said firmly, I will tell the council everything. They need to know what humans really are. Will they listen? Taiho asked. Jinwoo watched Sori and Navi playing together. Two children who would have been separated by the quarantine. Who would have grown up never knowing each other. Never becoming friends. They have to, Jinwoo said. Because this isolation isn't just hurting humanity. It's hurting everyone. We're all poorer for it. The refugee fleet stayed at the way station for 2 days. Humans provided food, medicine, repairs. They asked for nothing in return. They simply helped. And with every hour, Jinwoo became more certain. The galaxy had made a terrible mistake. A mistake that needed to be corrected. Humanity deserved their chance. And he would make sure they got it. The refugee fleet reached their destination 3 days later. Every ship arrived safely. Not a single life was lost. The human escorts had guided them through the safest routes, warned them of solar radiation zones, and provided supplies the entire way. When they finally crossed back out of human space, Captain Jinwoo felt an unexpected sadness. Leaving felt like abandoning friends. Commodore Taiho's final message was simple. "Safe journey, Captain. We hope to see you again. Under better circumstances next time." "You will," Jinwoo promised. "I guarantee it." 2 weeks later, Jinwoo stood before the Galactic Council. The great chamber was packed. Everyone had heard rumors about his illegal journey through human space. Many expected him to be court-martialed. Some whispered he had been brainwashed. High Counselor Thane called the emergency session to order. "Captain Jinwoo, you deliberately violated the quarantine. You risked thousands of lives. What do you have to say?" Jinwoo stood tall. "I say that I saved 2 million lives. And I learned that everything we believe about humans is wrong." Angry murmurs filled the chamber. Ambassador Vrel stood up, clicking his mandibles. "You were tricked. Humans are manipulative. They showed you what they wanted you to see." "No." Yuna stood beside Jinwoo. "I was there too. Everything the captain says is true. The humans helped us. They asked for nothing in return. They treated our wounded. They fed our hungry. They guided us safely through their space." Jinwoo activated a holographic display. Recordings from the journey appeared. Humans helping Na'vi. Human children playing with refugee children. Dr. Suji explaining the truth about first contact. The refugee species living peacefully in human space. 200 years ago, Jinwoo said, a terrible accident occurred. Not an attack, an accident. The humans tried to explain. We refused to listen. We built a wall around them based on fear and prejudice. And we have been wrong every day since. Lies, Vrel shouted. Propaganda. But other voices spoke up. Counselors who had watched the recordings, who had seen the evidence. The child, one said quietly. They helped an alien child without hesitation. And these refugees in human space, another added. The Clickthie. I remember when we refused to help them. The humans took them in. Ambassador Hannah stood up. For 10 years, she had been silent in these chambers, her words dismissed. But now, people were listening. I have served as your ambassador to humanity for a decade, she said, her voice clear and strong. Every day, I have tried to tell you the truth, that humans are not monsters. They are people. Complicated, emotional, intense people. But good people. People who want to be part of our community. People who deserve a chance. We've been alone for 200 years, Hannah continued. Isolated. Treated like a disease. Our offers of friendship rejected. Our attempts to explain ignored. We're not perfect. We have a violent history. We feel emotions deeply. But we also love deeply. We help deeply. We care deeply. We just want to belong. Silence filled the chamber. Real silence. Not the silence of fear, but of contemplation. Then someone unexpected spoke. An elderly Aquarian counselor stood slowly. My granddaughter was on that refugee fleet. Little Na'vi. She came home with a broken arm, healed by human doctors. And a new friend. A human child named Sori. Na'vi talks about Sori every day. About how kind she was. About how they played together, despite not sharing a language. The counselor's voice shook with emotion. My granddaughter doesn't understand politics. She doesn't know about the quarantine or ancient fears. She just knows that when she was hurt and scared, humans helped her. And that should tell us something. More counselors stood. More voices joined. I was wrong to support the quarantine, one admitted. We let fear control us, another said. But Vrel was not convinced. This is madness. You're all being fooled. Humans are unpredictable. Dangerous. Yes, we are unpredictable, a new voice said. Everyone turned. At the entrance to the chamber stood a human man in simple but dignified clothing. Prime Minister Hyan of Earth. Hana had arranged for him to attend via long-distance communication link. We are unpredictable, Hyan continued, because we feel deeply. We are dangerous because we protect fiercely those we care about. These are not flaws. These are part of who we are. We will not apologize for being human. But we will promise this. If you give us a chance, we will be the most loyal friends you could ask for. Thane raised his wing. The council will vote. Should the quarantine zone around human space be dissolved? The vote was not unanimous. Ral and a few others voted against. But the majority voted yes. When the results were announced, Hana closed her eyes. Tears ran down her face. 200 years. Finally ending. There are conditions, Thane announced. Humanity will open its borders to council inspectors. You will share your technology. You will allow free travel through your space. We agree to all of it, Hyan said immediately. We've been waiting 2 centuries for this chance. We won't waste it. 1 year later, Jinwoo stood in the same council chamber. But everything was different. Human delegates sat among the other species. Not isolated. Not feared. Equal. Hana sat in a normal seat, surrounded by colleagues who actually spoke to her. She was laughing at something a Chitra's diplomat had said. Real friendship had formed in the observation gallery. Children watched the proceedings. Sori sat next to Navi. The 2 girls had learned each other's languages. They were planning a visit to Navi's ocean city next month. Jinwoo watched them and smiled. This was the future. Children from different worlds, playing together, learning from each other, growing up without the walls that had divided their parents. Captain Jinwoo, a voice said. Commodore Taiho approached, now a regular visitor to council space. Commodore, Jinwoo greeted him warmly. They had become real friends over the past year. I wanted to thank you, Taiho said. What you did, bringing your fleet through our space, it changed everything. You took a risk when no one else would. You would have done the same, Jinwoo replied. Perhaps, but you did it first. That took courage. They looked out at the council floor. Humans and aliens working together. Sharing ideas, solving problems, building something new. You know what I realized? Jinwoo said quietly. We thought you were locked away because you were a threat. But the truth is, you were locked away because we were too afraid to understand you. The walls weren't protecting us from you. They were protecting us from our own fear. And now? Taiho asked. Now the walls are down. And we're all better for it. Down on the council floor, a vote was taking place. A proposal to establish joint human-alien research stations. To share knowledge. To work together on problems facing the galaxy. The vote passed easily. High Counselor Thane announced the next item. A humanitarian crisis on a distant world. We need ships for evacuation, he said. The route is dangerous. Who will volunteer? Immediately, hands and tentacles and wings raised. Humans and aliens both. Volunteering together. The galaxy is changing, Yuna said. Joining Jinwoo and Taiho, she had become the liaison officer for Human Council Relations. Because one captain was brave enough to question old fears. Because one species was patient enough to wait for a chance, Jinwoo corrected. And kind enough to help even when they had every reason not to. In the observation gallery, Sori and Navi were teaching other children a game. A mix of human and Aquarian rules. The children laughed and played without caring about their differences. Hana watched them from her seat and smiled. This was what she had dreamed of for 10 years. what humanity had hoped for during 2 centuries of isolation. Not dominance, not conquest, just belonging, just the chance to be part of something bigger than themselves. Ambassador Vrel approached her hesitantly. "Ambassador Hannah, I owe you an apology. I was wrong about your people." Hannah stood and extended her hand in the human gesture of peace. "We all make mistakes, Ambassador. What matters is that we learn from them." Vrel took her hand carefully. And in that simple gesture, 200 years of fear and misunderstanding finally ended. Outside the council chambers, ships from a dozen different species flew together. Human ships alongside alien vessels, no longer separated by invisible walls, no longer divided by ancient fear. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. That being different didn't mean being dangerous. That fear could be overcome by understanding. That walls designed to protect often just create loneliness, and that sometimes the most frightening thing in the universe is not the unknown civilization beyond the border. It's our own willingness to judge without understanding, to fear without knowing, to build walls instead of bridges. But now, finally, the walls were down, and the galaxy was discovering what humans had known all along, that together, different species could build something beautiful, something stronger than any one civilization alone, something worth the 200-year wait. The future was beginning, and it was brighter than anyone had imagined.